We are live now. 1, 2. Let me test the microphone, make sure everything good here. 1, 2. Check the mic check. Perfect. Sounds good to me. All right, guys. So the network up here now. We are live from VOSD. Welcome aboard to a brand new edition Sunday. We know what they don't count on Sunday, but we had the professor scheduled for today, and that's why we are here. Please, as you join, share the link for us. We highly appreciate that. Let me see what I can get to my entertainment here, and I will be right back. Please share the link for us. Please share the link. I will be right back here.
Hello to all my fans around the world. My name is Marie Nyenambo, the queen of traditional music. The only thing I want you to do to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, I'm on WhatsApp, I'm on Amo. Just subscribe to my channel. Promote me, my fans. Subscribe to my channel.
Subscribe, guys. Thank you.
International cheerleading. Masin konji aple chiko nini apepo suko jawiani. Andrew Sua. Easter Samwe. Tabena ne. Debe jiboe. Kena noe. Blabla juwe wade. Blabla juwe serane. Neseng juwe wade. Jeje pole serane. Yeba jeje pole lo. Umumu depo. Yeba blabla juwe ja. Umumu depo.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Voice of Sinoe Sunday edition of the show. Today is the 12th of December, 2021. Again, we are coming to you live from Prosper Park, Pennsylvania, these United States of America. I have a special guest on the platform this morning. Professor Richard Panton is my special guest. He's coming for joining us from Liberia this morning. So as you join, please share the link for us. We will highly appreciate that. All right, so I'm watching backstage when he gets on. We will start the discussion. But please, in the meantime, share the link for us. I will be doing some entertainment while we wait for the guests here. All right, so do that for us. Let me see it. I have to play my traditional music here. Let's see what I'll get there for you. My man Nathaniel Gata says it should be the signature sound for Voice of Sinoe. All right, let's see while we do that. This is backstage right now. Professor Panton is backstage right now. Share the link for us. Share the link. Please share. Our guest, a special guest at backstage right now. Please share the link. We'll be starting the show quickly. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Voice of Sinoe in the Diaspora with Esoteric, coming to you live from Prospect Park, Pennsylvania, these United States of America. I have my special guest this morning from Liberia. Professor Richard Panton is my special guest this morning, joining us at least the morning in the U.S. Let's see what the professor has for us this morning. But before I bring the professor on, I'm not good at introducing people, even though the professor himself will come and elaborate a little bit. But I want to read a little profile that he sent to me here before we bring the professor on. So my special guest, let me get the image here for you before I read a little profile that was sent forwarded to me. So that's Professor Panton right there. Professor Panton is a Director General of Banking Institute of Liberia. He's a former Deputy Director General for Training and Development, Liberia Institute of Public Administration. He's also former Chairman, Department of Public Administration, Business College, University of Liberia. And also he's a Senior Adjunct Lecturer of Public Administration, University of Liberia Graduate Program of Business and Public Administration. He is also a political activist for over 40 years in the struggle for democracy in Liberia. Without further ado, I'd like to bring my guest on. Oh, he's not by stage again. He was on, but let's see whether they're going to get back on so we can start the show. But that's a little background of my guest. Let's see, he is back. Okay, let's do it now. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to invite on screen for the first time Professor Panton. Hey, Prof, welcome to Voice of Sinoe.
Thank you very much.
Okay. I think the adjustment is good, but is it okay again to elevate it a little bit more? It looks good, though, but I just want to see from your chest up so that the people can see it. Good. That is wonderful. Fantastic. It's going down again. All right. That looks great. That looks great. All right. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. How are you today?
I'm okay. Okay.
Okay. How's Liberia?
Well, relatively calm.
Okay, relatively calm. You want to expand on that a little bit when you say relatively calm? Put in a little bit of context for us, please.
Well, it's relatively calm. Let's move on to what we are here to do.
Okay, good. So, do you have? Let's go to. Maybe I want to give you the opportunity to maybe give us opening remarks. Are you hearing me?
Yeah, I'm hearing you.
Yeah, so the floor is here. You can introduce yourself officially. I did that, but maybe you can give introductory comments and then introduce yourself. The floor is yours.
Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Speaking this afternoon in Liberia or from Liberia is Assistant Professor Richard Panton. I am here to throw light or share my ideas as a citizen of Sinoe and a citizen of the Republic of Liberia to discuss with you on pertinent issues about developments in Sinoe County. This is my opinion. As you know, in a democratic setting, every citizen is entitled to his or her views. So I take responsibility for what I'm going to say here today. And I'm kindly asking you to please listen keenly if you have any question, if you have any comment. This is a discussion. I'm not going to force my opinion on you. And let's interchange as citizens to find a better solution to the problems affecting our people. Thank you again, Sarpoland, for honoring my request to allow me to appear on your show. Thank you again.
Okay, Professor, welcome aboard. Welcome. Thank you so much for that beautiful opening statement. All right, so I don't know how strong the internet is over there, so we're going to go straight into business while it is kind to us right now. All right, so I think it was Chino Achimi who said, a lizard does not jump from the top of the okra tree for nothing. What brought the professor out?
Maru for your way. Tell me your bonia. Somebody will parade at me and go. Oh, sit us in the war. Where did you away? Where is there away? I'm war. Wow, I don't well. Well, there have been trending issues in the land, and sometimes as academics, as activists, it is good not to keep quiet. Sometimes it's better to share your view and perspective with your people so that we all join together to find common solution to our problems. And so I decided to share some light on issues across Sinoe County. Now, what brought me from the bush or wherever I was?
All right, great. Professor, I mean, I understand you are a progressive. And so I just want you to give us a little bit. I mean, I've been hearing that term, progressivism and liberation fighter and all of that. I mean, you want to at least explain to us a little bit why, when you say progressive, what does that mean, progressivism? Just to be succinct, not too much detail, but just a little bit.
Well, if you want me to give you a background a bit, somewhere in the 1970s, a group of Liberians decided to put themselves up to champion the cause of our people to bring about multi-party democracy and popular participation in Liberia. I happen to be one of the disciples of that period. I joined the struggle in 1974 as a sixth grade student at the St. Joseph Catholic School, enlisted myself in the work of MOJA, the Movement for Justice in Africa, and championing the cause for participatory democracy in Liberia. Our people must make progress. They must advance. And in order for them to advance, they must equally participate in the decisions that affect them. They must elect their representatives to represent their interests at the national decision-making table. They must have fair share of the national income from the national resources of the country. And those were issues we advocated for over the years. Today, the fruits are all over the place. You have more than 22 political parties. In my days, when I was coming up as a child, we have only one political party in Liberia. You have more than 20 or 50 newspapers in Liberia today, more than 50 radio stations. In my days, you have one radio station, and that was ELBC, which portrays government image. Besides that, you have the Christian radio station, ELBC, ELWA. And so today we have all of that. That's the work of the progressives, fighting for equal rights and democracy in Liberia.
Okay, Professor, I heard the phrase equal rights. Do you think we'll have equal rights right now in Liberia?
Well, the first thing is that, yes, I would say that. You may be concerned with quality, but yes, we are. You speak, I speak. Those days you can't speak. You are outrightly arrested and detained or ostracized. You can say anything you want to say today without running the risk of going to Bereyala or wherever. There's no need for you to write underground leaflets without names. Today you can write anything in the newspaper and go scot-free. You express your view as you feel. And we get online to go and vote and choose those that we want to lead us. And we have right to join as many political parties of our choice. Yesterday, we were only subjected to one political party. Some say one, some say all. Today is not like that. So, I mean, I can safely say, yes, there's equal right.
Okay. Something you said also in your introductory comments, you talk about fair share of the economic pile of the national resources. Do you think that people are getting a fair share of the economic pile?
As the struggle started in the 1970s, you found out that 5% of the population of Liberia at the time consumed 60% of our national income. Today, we thought that it would have changed. It has not. Things are even other way around. So the fair share has not really been the fair share as reported, as we want it to be. And so we are still struggling to get there.
So what constitutes fair share to you?
Well, when we talk about fair share, we talk about the masses of the people having improved facilities like health, education, roads, paved roads, and what have you, as a share of the national resources, of the income that derives from national resources. You don't have to be worried about hospital, good hospital. You don't have to be worried about good schools. You don't have to be worried about good roads. As I speak to you, for the last 15 years, I have not gone to my town in Republic. I have not. The roads are all bad. But see, the resources that are coming from those places, the income that we generate as a royalty, what have you, what do they do to benefit and improve the living standard of our people? Those are the things we put together to talk about fair share.
Okay, would you say you failed in your endeavors, given that those things were not achieved?
We progressives did not fail. We were not at the center of power. We were never given power. Power was not entrusted into our hands to govern Liberia, for which people will say we failed. We fought to change the system as it was. People were not participating in electing those who were supposed to represent them. They were not even putting themselves up to say they want to be president. Today they are. It is because of the struggle we wage. We put ourselves up too as progressives. Put our best minds up. The Liberian people said no, and that was good because they have the right to choose and they make their choice. That's what we wanted. Except that those who they entrusted the matter of power to did otherwise. So you can't blame the progressive for fighting for change. We fought for change. but we're not giving, and we did not demand it from our people. It was not our place to go. All we wanted our people to do is to have freedom of expression, freedom of association, in order for them to enjoy their living in their own society.
All right, thank you, sir. I think we got a little background, a little context here. Let's get to our topic. One of the things that we want to discuss today on the platform. And so the agenda you sent to me, you talk about politics and development in Sinoe County. Yeah. So before you go deep into that, I want you to do some jargon. You're a professor, you're a teacher. So teachers are the one that make things simple for us. So when we say politics, what is it? What are we talking about here?
Well, in the context of Sinoe County, we will talk about how the county is being led from its founding to today in terms of leadership, how the people work together as the people from a common place, how did they work together? And as a result of working together as citizens from the same place, what were the fruits from that relationship in terms of improving their living condition, development? So when you look at politics, how does politics affect development in Sinoe County over the years and to date? Now, having said that, let us go back a bit. Sinoe County is one of the 10 regional counties of the Republic of Liberia. Before then, it was a settlement. Before becoming a settlement, there were a group of people that inhabited that land called Sinoe, but it was not Sinoe at the time. It became Sinoe when the settler came and settled there. When our brothers came and settled there, they came under the canopy of the Mississippi Colonization Society. The Mississippi Colonization Society formed Sinoe County. And Sinoe County grew out of Mississippi Colonization Society and became part of the Commonwealth of Liberia on July 9 in 1839. So you see, those of us who were born in Sinoe up to the period 1980, we had a day called July 9. July 9, this is a Sinoe County day, therefore schools are closed. It's a holiday for Sinoe County. Schools are closed across Sinoe County, people drilling, there's this, general knowledge, and all kinds of festivities go on in Sinoe County on July 9. So Sinoe became a part of the Commonwealth of Liberia and then move on to the Republic of Liberia in 1847. From 1847 to 1980, Sinoe was having peaceful community in a sense, relatively peaceful, because one class dominated Sinoe politics at the time because the settler ruled. You all know that. So at the echelons of leadership in Sinoe County, you have our brothers of the American Liberian setting were predominantly the leaders of Sinoe in the legislature and even at the local level. And so we were working together as Sinoe citizens, know ourselves as Sinoe citizens, and not about Kru and Sarpo. No, it was not heard of. The only thing you would hear about those days was the question of unequal participation in the political process. And so that brought agitation, which I just explained before. At that time, in the leadership of Sinoe County, you have Harrison Grisby, Lawrence Mitchell, Destination Draper, Claudia Major, J. Dominic Bing, and others. Coming down towards the middle of the 1970s, you have Joseph Slero, you have Omen Councilor Boyne. They were the ones who were the indigenous people then at the legislature with those people. At the district level, you had 3 districts at that time. You had Dwason District, and you have Bayan District. Bayan, then you have the Butler District, then Commonwealth District of Greenville. On the Johnson side, Johnson comprised then of Cinco, Johnson itself, Weja, Kabade, and Tayoson. Those were the 4 areas that comprise Johnson District as an administrative district, headed by a commissioner at that time. And then you have the Butler District, as I said, you have the Greenville Commonwealth District, and then on the Bayan side, Bayan District. Those were the administrative districts at that time. By 1975, Johnson became the second statutory district within the Republic of Liberia, created by an act of the national legislature. And it comprised the same 4 areas. But then it moved from a county district status to a strained development in public administration and local governance in Liberia, where we call statutory district, where the superintendent of the statutory district is appointed by the president and confirmed by the legislature. Now, in that arrangement, if you look at it, technically the superintendent for Johnson Statutory District is not a subordinate to the superintendent of Sinoe County. No. It is only by expediency that he may somehow, subordinate himself to Sinoe County superintendent, but no, because the structure of that district is similar to the structure of Sinoe County. You have a district judge who was Laketoba from the Tayo side. The Tayo is a Tayo man. You have Cecil Birch, who was probate judge. He's a government. You have Alfred Beatty, superintendent, a Johnson Sarpoland. And you have all of that. Then you have the district detachment commander of the Liberian National Police. The same structure you have in the Sinoe County local structure, that way you have at that local structure. So you see, that's the complexity within our local government system, to have 2 jurisdictions with equal powers. But I mean, I'm not concerned with that. I'm concerned with how they came up. And so Johnson became a statutory district. And we're moving together in Sinoe as one people. You go anywhere as one people. After 1980, the chemistry changed around. It was no more American-Liberian dominance. It was now native Liberians. As a result of the 1985 elections, Sinoe had a new political leadership. You have Senator Lawson Draper. You have Senator Fred Blay. You have Representative Maya Tobo. Representative Maya Tobo represents the people from Joazon, Cinco, Weja, Kabade, Tayoson. He represents those people. You have Fred Blay from the Bayan side, Larry Botte from the same area, and you have Nyeswa, Omen Nyeswa. Then you have William Jaba from the Butler side. And so we knew ourselves then as Sinoe citizens. We didn't care who was where. We knew ourselves and operated as Sinoe citizens. We have a saying those days when you want a job or you want to be a leader of the Sinoe University Student Association or any Sinoe student, the people will ask you, how well do you know Sinoe County? Have you lived in Sinoe before? What has been your contribution to the development of Sinoe County? Those were issues that we used to trade with one another for people who are running for offices in Sinoe. So we knew ourselves as Sinoe citizens. Unfortunately for us, contradictions sharpened during the period of the National Democratic Party rule, Samuel Doe administration, confusion grew out in terms of government respect for human rights and what have you. So political struggle culminated into the Civil War. When the Civil War came to Liberia, we killed ourselves, especially for people in Sinoe, who fought ourselves so bitterly that those bonds that we once cherished were hindered, were seriously injured. As a result of injury, it was not easy to see each other eye to eye. As God would have it, the international community came to our assistance, and then the war was over. We began the process of putting the pieces together to live as brothers and sisters once more, like we used to do before. So the end of the Civil War was an excellent opportunity to do so. And our people began that process through the holding of series of counter dialogues and what have you, for us to go back to our system. Now, as we gradually go towards this, there was an issue of disagreement between political leaders of Sinoe at the level of the national legislature. May his soul rest in peace. Senator Mombutu Nyimpa on the one hand, and Superintendent Grisby on the other hand, could not perfectly get along. Grisby and the Central Legislative Caucus mainly his relationship with the senior senator at the time was very poor. They were just there. Series of meetings were held to bring them together to focus on Sinoe development until to the point where Grisby was withdrawn from Sinoe and brought back to Monrovia. And Grisby went and came back to Monrovia, and we all were here. Then the president of Liberia has the prerogative, constitutional prerogative, to appoint the superintendent of the county. And therefore, series of meetings were held, and a Sinoe citizen was chosen and appointed by President Selig to go into Sinoe to become the superintendent of Sinoe County in the person of former Superintendent Milton Teahjay. But Teahjay went to Sinoe as a superintendent, and he was in Sinoe superintending the affairs of the county. Along the road, going towards 2011, there was, according to our constitution, we had two senators. The senator with the aye vote became the senator of the first class, and the second, therefore, he's the senior. And the second one becomes the junior. So the junior senator term was to be expired in 2011. And so, if the term expires, another Sinoean supposed to occupy that seat. And there where the politics started to shift in Sinoe County. And this is the most regrettable era. This is the place at which we started to go back into dark days in Sinoe County. And I want everybody listening to me to listen to this piece. This is my opinion, as I said. On the morning of January 2nd, 2011, I had a breakfast meeting with Dr. Usaa because we were discussing the role of Moja, and we're supposed to do some Moja work beginning 2011. So we were at Sawyer's house that morning having breakfast, discussing the Moja plan. In the process of discussing, Senator Cletus Watterson, a former senator for Grand Kru County and President Pro Tem of Liberian Senate, walked on us. He had come so desperately, worried about the situation in Sinoe. So he called on Sawyer and said to Sawyer, I have come to appeal to you to get more active in Sinoe. There's a problem that is about to take place in Sinoe, and we don't want it that way. We are just coming from war, and we don't think it's necessary for it to be that way. So Sawyer said, what is happening in Sinoe? He said, I came to appeal to you. We don't want two Sarpo people in the legislature. We want it to be a balanced legislature, one Kru, one Sarpo. You already have Mobutu Nyimpa in the legislature, and there's no need for you to have another Sarpo man in the legislature. We need to have a Kru man in the legislature. At that time, the news has gone wild in Sinoe County that our brother and friend at Sinoean, senior citizen Matthew Zarzar, was to be tipped by Sinoe people to run against Senator Namwe. And so the politics began. When Watterson made that statement, Sawyer laughed and looked at me. And the way Sawyer looked at me, Watterson was shocked. Then he said, but why would you talk, when you and I are talking as colleagues, then you're pointing to Richard? What does he have to do with this one? You just have to sit down and listen. And Dr. Sawyer said, no, I think you need to take part. It was on that day that Watterson got to know that I was a Sarpo man. Yeah. All along, he knew me to be Sinoe boy because I speak Sinoe. And I told him, no, it should not be. We should not tribalize representation in the legislature. I told Watterson up front, we should not tribalize representation in the legislature. Sinoe County has not tribalized representation in its history. Sinoe citizens who have the capability run for position and they are elected as Sinoe citizens, we treat them as Sinoe citizens. I don't see the logic of us now saying that we should go and put a Sarpo man in the legislature and a Kru man in the legislature. No, they will think Kru, they will not think Sinoe. And it's better for them to think Sinoe in totality than for them to think travel. It is about deepening the wound among our people. And so Watterson and I had a serious clash that morning until Sawyer was so embarrassed by my action. In fact, Watterson walked out of the room and he left. When he left, then Dr. Sawyer started to tell me, look, the way you talk to Cletus, I don't appreciate that. You're supposed to take your time to talk to the man, but you outrightly condemn the man's proposal. You were just supposed to, take your time like your big brother. And so I said, no, Dr. Sawyer, I would not sit anywhere and allow anybody, big, small, old, or young, to divide Sinoe County on travel lines. That is not my philosophy. I don't think it's the philosophy of Sinoeans. Zarzar should run as senator. If he is defeated, fine. But it's just going to be that way. Because if we do so, Sinoe will not go anywhere. Unfortunately, they succeeded by convincing Ellen Sirleaf to talk to Matthew Zarzar, for Matthew Zarzar to withdraw from the race of senator. And with the promise that Honorable Zarzar will serve in Ellen's government at the highest level. Now, Matthews, I call him Matthews. He's honorable now, but as a progressive brother, who and I were Moja people, we talk to each other like colleagues. So please. So Matthew, as a respectable person, observed the fact that these were older folks, and he listened to their wisdom, and he backed off at the displeasure of most of us who wanted him to be a contestant in our race. Ask himself today. Ask himself. People in Nicotown were told this. At that time, I was serving as chairman of the Borough Development Committee, a series of meetings on this issue. Matthew's allies in Nicotown and across Sinoe County were so disappointed that he withdrew from the race on the advice of the older folks. That's where Sinoe County started to be divided on travel lines. And the election came on, and Nambe won the election. And we started right there, politics of ethnicity enacted in Sinoe County, which I opposed to up to today. I still opposed to that belief. That county is for every Sinoean. Yeah. When it comes to Sinoe County, it's for every Sinoe. Any Sinoe person can be anything in Sinoe County. Doesn't have to be whether a Congo man, a Sarpo man, a Kru man. I'm not looking at you as Sarpo. I'm looking at you as Sinoe citizen. What is it that you are bringing to the table for the development of Sinoe County? Now, that's my interest. And the politics started, which was so much bad for our side as Sinoe people. Every Sinoe knows what happened. So Zarzar did not get elected as senator. As along the line, unfortunately, the Great Divine has a way of, he controls our life on earth. And so our brother Waba, who was representing District Number 3, unfortunately passed, which was shock and a serious shock to the community. A gentleman of that side just passed, but we got no control over Divine Province. Then there was a void now, and the District Number 3 people went into the race and contested on a democratic vote, and Honorable Marvin Zarzar became the victor of the race, and he became representative on the other side. He became a representative. In the process of administering or doing its duties in the legislature, there was the issue of Sinoe Development Fund that has some complications in terms of the effective utilization of the fund to impact the well-being of the people of Sinoe. It turned out to be that alleged misappropriation of the funding by the county administration was done. And that investigation was carried out, and Superintendent Teahjay at the time was found liable for that act, to which he was penalized, and he was even subjected to prison, what have you. I don't consider it as something wrong, because for me, I stood up against corruption, misappropriation, misuse of public office. I stood up against that. So anybody who is found culpable, misusing public fund, the only thing I'm interested in is you must be given due process. And if you are given due process and it's found out that you are guilty, you must face the full weight of the law. You face the full weight of the law. So that happens. And that was it. We crossed that chapter. When the time came for election, Mambutu's term has expired, and therefore he needed to go for a rerun. In the process, Sinoe people, by their vote, elevated Superintendent Teahjay to be senator for Sinoe County, and he won the election. At the 9 year of complicity on the part of the election commission, so I'm not inclined to say the election was not free and fair. Sinoe people voted and chose Teahjay, as much as it was to my displeasure, because, the fact that the comrade misappropriated funding, it was found out that indeed he was guilty of the act. I don't think he should have been rewarded. No, I don't think so. But my people felt otherwise. So I'm one man. My Sinoe people felt otherwise, and said, so I have to subject myself to their views. That is what they want, and I can't overdo that. No, I'm one man. I have my view. If I were contending, or was somebody who was in Sinoe to run the campaign against, those were the issues I was going to raise with Mr. Teahjay. That, hey, brother, you have served your time, but we don't think we can elevate you this because this is what you've done. It's not a good thing as a public servant for you to find yourself in this way. I would have said that, but I don't have a voting right in Sinoe, Not that because I'm not there, I didn't register there. So I thought my people would have been reasonable enough. But they didn't. They did it otherwise. So that's it. So we have to accept and work with Senator Teahjay and others for us to move the county forward. You see. So there where we are.
Okay, Professor.
And so these things are put together are called Sinoe development. Sinoe development. You know. So on the first chapter, this is the summary I have.
Okay, wonderful presentation there. It's quite informative, lying a little bit Sinoe background over to the politics. All right, so you spoke of a lot of stuff, and I like to understand things. So you spoke of how the county was governed and stuff like of that nature, and you said the land first wasn't Sinoe County. What was the name of the land now called Sinoe County?
Well, actually, every area has its own name. You have Buto, you have Zarzar, you have Weja, you have Kabade, you have Tayuso, you have Baya. You know, our people were living, you know, there was not something that, you know, because at that time they were not part of the Liberia had not been formed.
Okay.
So each area has its own name. Until the settler came and settled along the Sinoe River. In fact, they had a confusion with the people in a place called Snow Country. When you live in Greenville, when Greenville you could go towards Buto, that land. So they and the Kru, because the Kru people were the one occupying the seaside mostly. So they had a confusion at that because they were settling on the land. They didn't want to conform to the norms of our people. You understand? As strangers come to the town, you know, you have to live with your brothers as the same people, but they have different value system, and they think that our people were subordinates and what have you. So it brought confusion and all of that. Also, at that time, the Liberian government had put an embargo on trade, and the Krus were the one who were usually dealing with the European traders and all of that. So they wanted to curtail this kind of relationship. As a result, it brought misunderstanding between the Krus and them. But those areas were named according to the various tribes. Until then, when it became Commonwealth of Liberia, and then Sinoe County became part of. So because they were in that geographic location, they formed part of Sinoe County.
Okay, so but do you know the etymology of the word Sinoe? What does it mean?
Well, if you want to know Liberian history, Liberian historian and other traditional people will say Sinoe has its origin from Sinoe. Sinoe is a river.
Okay.
That's why we can say Sinokli. Sinokli means inside Sinoe, that is inside Sinoe River. So then other people say the word Sinoe is a Portuguese name. So because I'm not a historian, so I live with the two views.
Okay. All right, perfect. All right, so Professor, thank you so much. I mean, there are a lot of things you discussed. You talk about strange things happening in the county. You specifically say how the county has been led. How is the county being led currently?
Currently, the county is in confusion. It's in confusion. It's quite disappointing. It's a serious impediment to development. Because when the leaders are not working together, it inhibits collaboration. It inhibits thoughts, free thoughts for development, which is not in the interest of the county. We should see ourselves as Sinoeans and not as Kru or Sarpo. No, that is not a good thing to do.
Okay,
yes,
so Professor,
I agree.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, and let's go ahead. I agree that one will be a Kru man and the other one will be a Sarpo man. But their thinking should not be Sarpo Kru as adversaries. They should be Sinoe County for development. Because there's no way you can take a Sarpo man, the Sarpo people from Sinoe County. They are integral part of Sinoe County. There's no way you can take the Kru people from Sinoe County. They are integral part of Sinoe County. So what are you talking about? Let's talk about Sinoe. Let things talk and live and walk as Sinoeans.
So, Professor, to every problem, there is an agent that initiates that problem. If you were to apportion blame, or if you were to give a verdict, who or what is the main problem in the county that generated the conflict that you are speaking of?
Well, the first thing I would like to look at is that introduction of us not electing on Sinoe lines. When people started saying we should only have one Kru, one Sarpo in the legislature as senator of Sinoe County. There where the division started from. We should have Sinoe citizens as legislators, something that we used to, something that we live with. When Lawson Draper or Fred Blade was senator for Sinoe County, I don't care. I go to Fred Blade office, I deal with Fred Blade as a Sinoe senator. I go to Lawson Draper office, I deal with Lawson Draper as Sinoe senator. I don't deal with him as a crewman. Even Maya Toba, who was representing Joashua. I don't deal with Maya Toba as somebody from Teahjay. I deal with Maya Toba as Joashua representative. So when we started to look at that line, that's where the problem started from, which is wrong. And we have to bring it back to where we were to promote unity for development in Sinoe County.
Okay, so Professor, how do we bring it back? What is your panacea? What is your format to bring us back to where we were before and leaving that ethnic politics that you're talking about? What is the way forward? How do we go about it?
It requires dedicated and like-minded Sinoe citizens to get together and force the leadership to think Sinoe. Those who are not prepared to think Sinoe, get them off the road, and we move.
When you say force, what do you mean, though? When you say force the leaders?
When we say force, the force will come in a democratic process. In a democratic process. We can't kill them. We can't fight them. But we use the democratic process to get them out.
Okay, but for the local things, I mean, from what I'm hearing from you, the politics of ethnicity is ingrained. It is endemic in the county. How do you get it out of the people?
How do you get it out of the people? When the leaders start working together and not pushing travel lines. When the leaders are taking Sinoe and talking Sinoe and doing things as Sinoe citizens. No, let me tell you something, my brother. This morning, if you went on Sinoe Street, there's a church there called Baptist Church. You will see Kru and Sarpo people sitting in the church worshiping. When you come to New Kru Town, you go to New Kru Town, you will see in the Nanimna United Methodist Church, you will see Kru and Sarpo people singing, dancing, doing things. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, look at a situation like this. The life that the crewmen live is not improved over the Sarpo men's life. All of them sleeping in darkness. There's no road that going to Bayan, no road going to Sakwin, no road going to Kulu, no road going to the Mopo, no road going to Plain Bible, no road going to Jawitown, no road going to Joashua. They all live the same way, wretched. So what is that? But the leaders are better off. They're enjoying their life, and our people are suffering. There's something in political theory we call troubled entrepreneur. Troubled entrepreneurship is a disease for the development of Africa. If you read political theory, you will find out in African political theory, you will find out that African tribalism is not bad. It's a tool for community unity. It's a it's a tool for the collective approach to issues on development in the society. But it becomes dangerous when entrepreneurs exploit the we feeling. And that's what our leaders are doing. Our leaders are doing. Today leaders of Sinoe County, that what they are doing, they are killing the county. So a crewman will look at Sarpo men and say, oh no, man, Sarpo will be there. Sarpo men will say, oh, this and that, what have you. But the leaders are benefiting, they enjoy. Look, when the guys are devaluing our Sinoe development fund, they don't make flour. They don't make flour. But they make flour and make us to look like the flour. What the flour they're making, is it because what? Is Mr. Zarzar fighting to curb corruption in Sinoe, and Mr. Teahjay is fighting back that corruption should not be fought? Then I will stand on the side of Zarzar to fight against corruption in Sinoe County, because corruption will deny our people of their benefit. Is Mr. Teahjay fighting Mr. Zarzar because Mr. Zarzar said that they should not build a high school in Kru? Is that the fight? I will stand behind Mr. Teahjay and say, no, Mr. Zarzar is wrong. We have to build a school in this place. Why are they fighting? What is the fundamental issue between Mr. Zarzar and Mr. Teahjay at the expense of our people?
Professor, you just indicated from the beginning that Senator Teahjay misappropriated the people of Sinoe County Development Fund, and that's how Mr. Zarzar intervened. So you don't think the involvement of Mr. Zarzar was prudent?
I want you to get me clear. Maybe you were listening, so you didn't get. I want you to get me clear, and everybody else should get me clear. I am saying, if Mr. Zarzar and Mr. Teahjay misunderstanding is on the fight that Mr. Zarzar is fighting to curb corruption in Sinoe, and Mr. Teahjay is fighting back to carry on corruption in Sinoe, I will stand by Mr. Zarzar to fight against corruption in Sinoe, because corruption will deny our people of their fair share and benefits for development.
So, Professor, about corruption, what exactly do you mean?
If our people get the money, and if the government of Liberia appropriate money for you to carry on development, you don't do development, you cannot account for how you use the money. You cannot account for it, and you use the money for your personal gains. Once you can account for it, it is perceived that you will use it for your personal gains, and we cannot see any development that you want to talk with that. We must probe you. When you investigate it and you found out that you actually cannot give account of the money, then you have to be made to pay for that money. Yes. Okay,
that's one aspect of corruption, though. There's a letter here from the city mayor of Teahjay, I think Mother Annie Public. They were instructed that lady, Senator Teahjay instructed the lady to remove 46 employees, civil servants from payroll. And there was a fight between Zarzar and Teahjay on the issue. The man wants to replace 46 person who did nothing. In the communication, they don't state what those employees did. Do you think it was a good fight on the part of Zarzar?
Could you please read that letter? Let me listen to it.
Okay, it says that we extend our compliments and wish to forward.
Give me the date of that letter. Give me the date of that letter.
It was written July the 18th, 2019.
Okay.
Okay. And it says, Dear Minister Johnson, we extend our compliments and wish to forward for your kind consideration the attached list of 46 civil servants from the district that are needed to be replaced. As you will note, the attached contains both those to be replaced along with the names of individuals that are to replace them. It is my ardent hope that you will kindly grant this request, which is necessary for the smooth and effective running of my district. Kind regards, sincerely yours, Annie Public Superintendent.
All right. I have a problem with that letter. What problem do I have with that letter? There are two types of employees in the public service. You have the presidential appointees, the superintendent, the development superintendent, the commissioners. These are presidential appointees. And you have the civil servant. The civil servant cannot be removed from a work without proving misconduct against civil service standing order. Point number one. Another thing again is that you can remove somebody from the civil service for age. That is, the person is to be retired after reaching 65 years of age, or serve the civil service consecutively 25 years. Besides those, you cannot remove the people and replace them with other people. It's wrong. And anybody who fought against that, that's a correct fight you are fighting.
Okay, that's a correct fight on the part of Zarzar then. So I think the professor.
Excuse me, please. Excuse me. I want you to be very mindful now. No, excuse me. Let us not personalize this. I am saying that this fight is justified by the fact that, according to our laws, are you following? The civil service regulation is clear. Civil service has two regulations. age regulation that require for retirement, and tenure that require for 25-year consecutive tenure required for retirement. So if that's the case that have been discovered in the local government structure of that district, and they want to replace, it's not a superintendent to tell people to replace them. Civil service is the one that's supposed to write those people that you will be replaced. You are being retired, and what have you? You understand? So that was wrong. It was wrong. And whoever gave that superintendent is quite wrong. That superintendent is not aware or is not knowledgeable about public service management. That superintendent is supposed to be reminded that it is not in your purview to dismiss civil servant without cause.
Okay, yes, another fight that went on in Sinoe. I don't know whether you are cognizant of it. The second statutory district, for example. At certain point, our Senator Milton said it was a Bokos district. So they were running propaganda against the Cinco statutory district for a while. And that's another fight that went on. Do you think the fight was also justified by Zarzar?
All right. This is one topic that I had when we talk about creation of districts.
Okay.
All right. Let's start back. Let's move back small. Now you're drinking water. Let me bring my own to drink small. Just give me a few seconds.
Go ahead. Please go ahead. All right, guys. My special guest is Professor Richard Panton from Liberia. He's bringing fresh ideas. His thoughts to the discussion.
All right.
We have a lot of interesting topics here to talk about. So
so I'm back. You talk about creation of districts. In the 1990s, but let me go back more when it comes to the history of creating districts. Far back in the early part of the 1970s, a discussion started in Sinoe that specifically the Johnson side, they wanted to have a district, statutory district. You know, it was really after that time they created the Kruisberg district by 1973. Kruisberg became the first statutory district. Before then, we used to have territories. So when President Tolwa came to power, instead of doing what Todmont did by creating territory, he decided to create statutory districts. So he created Kruisberg statutory district by 1973. And that discussion started among the Johnson people. When I say Johnson district at the time, it comprised Cinco, Weja, Kabade, Tayozo. Joseph Slero was our representative. What did he do? Joseph Slero had a team. On that team, you have Teacher Quille from Kabade. You have Charlie Warrior from Weja. You have Moses Puja from Weja. You have Paramount Chief Moses Ometanobaye. You have him as part of the team from Weja. On the single side, you have Daniel Sewea. You have Omer Kelowea. You have Omer Kroji. You have Monisri Degbe. You have Asekuma. You have Jane Simien. You have Asequito. On the Johnson side, you have Padmo Patron. You have David Carlo. You have Joseph Carlo. You have David Kuya. You have Edward Morris. You have Joseph Slero. You have William Slero. On the Tayoson side, you have Lucky Toba. You have Dwayne, Moses Dwayne. You have Moses Pajibo. You have Newspaper George. You have Newspaper George. You have a Newspaper George, other brother, man. Benjamin Jire. And you have others. So these people used to meet to discuss. At the end of their discussion, they all concluded that they should appeal to their brethren on the other side. I'm giving you this story because my father was the secretary to this group of people. And so they will have this meeting to brainstorm. So this day they went to meet Harrison Grisby, James E. Green, and all of the cream of cream in the Sinoe leadership. For each time they went to meet them, these people that had counted would talk. Simon Jar on the other side. Sorry, I didn't put Omen Jar there. He's one of the elders that I think he graduated from Harvard University. Because Omen Jar can speak he can interpret any English that you speak, but he never went to any school. And so they will go and sit with Grisby and Green and others, and they will put their case forward. At the end of the day, when time comes for Joseph Level to speak, he will just tell you, "Kuli, my brothers have spoken, and this is what we are here for." They did all that discussion as a team until Johnson was proclaimed in 1975 as a statutory district, inclusive of the 4 areas that I just named. That came, they brought in the superintendent. The first superintendent for Johnson statutory district was Alfred Beatty. The reason was that they did not want the Johnson superintendent to be a subordinate to the superintendent in Sinoe County. Are you following?
Yeah, I'm following.
That's the logic of balance of power. They don't want a Johnson superintendent to just be a subservient when the other superintendent comes and you're sitting down. You must look at that superintendent and tell him no. And the only way you can look at that superintendent to tell him no is your knowledgeability and experience in the nuances of governance. So they took Alfred Beatty and carried him to Sinoe. Alfred Beatty was then an auditor, a senior auditor at the auditing bureau in Monrovia. He had a bachelor's degree in accounting and other postgraduate diploma or what have you. So they took Alfred Beatty to Sinoe to be superintendent of Johnson Statutory District. So the commissionership of the district went to Teahjay, and then they took our old man Johnny Clark there, my uncle Johnny Clark. Now, this is how our people used to work together when it comes to the politics of Sinoe County, to work as a team. After the Civil War, when Mr. Charles Taylor became president of Liberia, the politics shifted. You know, the Sarpo people and the Crown people were bashed together as the supporters of Samuel Doe. And therefore, Charles Taylor was not so kindly to receive such people. So politics was again the Sarpo people at the time during Taylor's regime. So people, our brethren from the Teahjay side, took advantage of their proximity to the center of power to form the Teahjay district. And this is how they did it cleverly. They got a Sarpo man who was in the legislature to support a bill to form the Teahjay statutory district. Are you following?
Yeah, who's the Sarpo man?
It was then Fred Baba.
Okay.
Fred Baba was on a slippery slope. And in politics, he has to be very careful because he was not representing a Sarpo area. It was not amendable directly to the Sarpo community. So his removal from the legislature is not dependent on a Sarpo vote. Are you following?
Yeah.
Because he got that position during the proportional representation that was carried out in the 1997 election that brought Charles Taylor to power. So he was representing districts. He was representing a representation where in the Bayern statutory district area. He was not representing Johnson as a Johnson representative. No, he was representing Sinoe County.
Okay.
But the representation of that seat belonged to Bayern statutory district. So Charles Taylor used the professional representative to select people, and he could not select people who were knowledgeable so he did that. So Fred was not position to say he has a backing. Are you following?
Yeah.
So that bill was put on the floor. Sarpo people, the Sarpo community as a whole rejected vehemently that should not be the case. Their rejection is not that they don't want Teahjay to be a statutory district, no. But Teahjay should not encroach on the territorial land space of Joazon. Are you following?
Yeah.
Because the Teahjay people were taking Plain Mahabo on the Plain Mahabo, they were taking Niplubo, and they were taking Tubata. And the Sarpo people said, no, these are our towns. They cannot be. I can remember I was on a delegation that met with Mr. Taylor in the executive marshal. And we told him, plain blank in his face, that this was wrong. It is not intended to bring peace and harmony among our people. If Teahjay want to be a district, there should be a district, but not encroaching on the land space. Are you following?
Yeah.
And therefore, it is important for us to redemarcate the land. We demanded that this should be done. Taylor did not back off. Taylor said, okay, to justify your claim, there's a need for us to investigate. And then they sent a delegation from the Ministry of Internal Affairs to go to Sinoe to do that. While that was going on, we're pursuing the legislature because the bill was still being processed at the legislature. It was in Capitol Building when the debate started, and then they arrested the president of the Sarpo Apollo Association, Brother Harrison Jadia. You understand? Some people went to Taylor that in fact Taylor should remove me from my job. At that time, I was at the Liberia Institute of Public Administration. And I said, well, the job is not for my father because I'm educated, but I cannot sit here to allow anything wrong to happen to our people. We have to fight it. Unfortunately, we did not get the blessing of the government, and they passed the law. So those areas became part of the district. Now, mind you, if you can recall in history, today you have the proximity of power, and you use your proximity to your advantage at my disadvantage. What happens tomorrow if I should also have that proximity? Do you expect me to? Then that's the time that you will claim to say, oh, Richard is bad. So what happened? The war that was fought between Iraq and Iran, it's not because Iran get oil. No, it's not because of that. Saddam Hussein was a child, and he know the history of the Tigray and Tigray River. The land that was taken by the backing of the American to give the Iranian that advantage over Iraq. Saddam felt as a child, in his lifetime, he will redeem that land. In his lifetime, he will redeem that land. And you saw what happened between Iran and Iraq. People were thinking, people put it under the cloud that Saddam was trying to take the oil. But Saddam, the main issue, if you read the history of that region, Iraq claimed the area that it is their area. So today, if you have proximity to power, what I thought you should do is, we want to form a Teahjay district. Since we want to form a Teahjay district, what is the population of the Teahjay people? What is the land mass of the Teahjay area? If the population is less and the land mass is less, what do? Let's hold discussion with our brethren on the other end. Now, what sound politicians can do. Good politicians, nation builders, that's what they do. Meet the Sarpo Apollo or the Sarpo community, predominantly people from Plain Mahabo, people from Joazon, just sit and discuss as brothers. This is what we are trying to do. But you use your proximity and you want to do it. So they form the Teahjay district at the displeasure of the Joazon people. Yeah, such is the time, such is the condition. So the district was formed. Now, and we're there. It's still in contestation because the Joazon people still claim that, mind you, forming a district and putting a land space in that district is administrative, but the land is still, the people who own that land, they are still the owners of that, the inhabitants of that land. You understand that? There are evidence of that there. It's only for administrative purposes that you're doing it. But you will also create a deep-seated problem in the future that you will not have control over. You and I may not be around tomorrow. And Saddam Hussein will come and say he's claiming his forefather's land. You don't do those things as nation builders. It's wrong. Let's consult and see how we can consolidate the gains instead of using muscle to muscle other people out. It's not a good thing to do. Nobody in my right mind, I will not oppose to Teahjay becoming a district. No, but I will not also encourage Teahjay encroaching on territories without the acquiescence and express approval of the other brothers on our side. There should be there should be meeting of the mind to take such a decision. All right. After that period, and you are coming to the area of Teahjay said Bugos district. Well, its terminology of Bugos does not apply to me. So I will not say Bugos district, right? I will not say Bugos district. They are districts that were created. But how were they created? How were they created? Do you want to go into the creation? Do you want us to go into the creation of the districts?
Oh yeah, sure. I want to know. I want to know
right.
how they were formed. Yeah. Also,
right.
Go ahead.
All right. During the transitional legislature of President Julie Bryan, interim President Julie Bryan, after the Accra Peace Conference, a transitional government was put together in Liberia. That transitional government was sworn in, and they created the transitional legislature. It was during that period that Mr. Waba, the late Waba, may so rest in peace, proffered these two bills that created Wakaba and Single Statutory District. Are you following?
Yeah.
Obviously, that it was not in the legislature when they were done.
Right.
It could play a role because he was then a member of the executive and being a senior official of Sinoe County. It could play a role, but he was not the one who put it on the floor. Let's get it straight. All right. So this thing was done. But the contention came in when Johnson was highly affected. Part of Johnson was taken and put into Single Statutory District. Part of Johnson was also taken and put into Wakaba District. So then, Johnson people started to raise eyebrows. The reason they raising eyebrows is that, A, we are not opposed to the creation of statutory district out of Johnson, but Johnson land should not. It doesn't mean that you cannot create a district, but creating a district and taking the land you are taking is wrong. It's an affront to us.
Professor, so before you go ahead though, I want to understand exactly how do you determine the land, the demarcation of a specific region? How do they determine that this land is theirs? What are the indicators? Yeah.
They are traditional benchmarks. Either the hill, rivers, those are jurisdictions that you look at when the people are forming land boundaries. Say, for instance, the St. Paul River, the St. John River is the boundary between Bom and Nima County. The Cecil River is the boundary between Grand Gide and Nima County. You get it?
Yeah.
The Sarpoland River is the boundary between Sinoe County and Riverside. You see that? So either you use the hill and what have you, and so traditionally those areas are marked. Everybody knows those areas. The people from that area know. So whenever you are about to form a district out of these places, to avoid complications and misunderstanding, it is always necessary and prudent politically and also expedient to engage all sides. Do not use proximity to power as the basis of creating jurisdictions.
So, Professor, let me ask a quick question here. You talk about traditional boundaries.
Yeah.
Is that how the land mass of a group of people are determined? Because according to your constitution here, which I have copy Article 34 of the Constitution, it says Article 34 of the Constitution, it says the legislature shall have the power, A, to create new counties and other political subdivisions and adjust or readjust existing county boundaries. So when you talk about the traditional boundary, should we go with the traditional format or what the lawmakers they put in place?
Yeah, the Constitution said that. The Constitution said that clearly. The Constitution is not wrong to say that. Constitution is wrong. It's right to say so. But what I'm saying to you, in the adjustment of the boundary, you have to be very mindful not to create additional problems. And that's the reason why the legislature will always send people on the ground to do a study, comprehensive study, because the legislature does not want an aftermath, does not want a negative aftermath. Yes, it's a constitutional mandate of the legislature, but it is subject to prudence and expediency. Is that cast in stone?
So, but then I think as an academic in the country, I think you guys have to educate the people instead of, because if you think your land is being encroached upon, I think it has to be addressed to the lawmakers instead of going in the county and the people confronting each other, because the boundaries were not created by the people; it was created by the lawmakers. So now you educate the people to confront the lawmakers.
Yes, you see, that's the problem you will have when the lawmakers don't sit down to properly do these things. The lawmakers, in their action, they're good. Let me be frank with you. You can do good thing. The way you do the good thing is the problem. So, as a person who want to make a decision on behalf of your people, you just don't make it the way you want to make it. Take time out to make it so that when it is made, it is made. If you want to use political might to do it, you might not be there 20, 50 years down the road. Somebody else come and reverse it. Then we will be like the vital land, where one generation will come and say the land for the people, the next generation will come and say the land for the people. Is that what you want? No. So when you have constitutional prerogatives, you must look at expediency and prudence.
Professor, what are those jargons? A lot of people understand it. Expediency and prudence. What is that?
Is it necessary for us to do it this way? Are we doing it the way that will bring harmony between Zarzar and myself after living together for almost 20 years? Zarzar married to my cousin, or Zarzar uncle married to my sister's daughter, and my brother married to Zarzar's son. I mean, my sister married to Zarzar's son. Our boundary to make farm every year, we do things together here with Zarzar and myself. So for the last 20 to 30 years of our life, is it good for us to do it this way? So to look at that, those are the issues, those are the terminologies I'm using, prudence and expediency.
Okay, let me bring the viewers in here to see. I'll look at some of their comments here. I don't want to isolate them. So let me see what they say. Marie Pine is asking, so what can we do to fix all these problems now?
All right. The first thing we need to do is, when Zarzar and myself making flour, nobody from outside will join me our flour. Zarzar and myself must sit down face to face and ask me, Richard, that one morale can we get? Zarzar made that true to answer. We are one day in the come what in nuke. That I saw now to the atomoy. I want real.
Yeah.
At the atomoy. I pull it. But me too a bluely. They pull it come. But
Professor, I like
you. West are there.
I'd like you to speak the original language, but I think the viewers, some of them might not understand the language.
Okay.
Yeah, so please just stay with English.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
What I'm saying here is that, for example, the Cinco and the Johnson people, they are very, very close. They are very, very close. They're very close. Is it not necessary for them to sit down and talk?
Necessary.
No, it is necessary for them to talk. You see, we have to reach out to one another. The only problem that is hard to solve, and people will be brave to solve, is the problem that takes place between two brothers. Because there will always be the feeling that, my own brother can do that thing to me. No, I will not accept it. But it takes hard for people to sit and discuss it. And we have to. We are forced to do so. We cannot allow it to go that far. I have my views. But my view is subject to the general view. And that general view is what? Harmony and unity. When you reach to that point, I have to succumb. Yes. There is no way that I can say single people should not have a territory. No. I'm saying it today publicly. I'm not saying it hiding myself from in the bush. No. There is a need. If that need is Johnson land or area in Johnson must beef of Cinco, then we must sit there and talk about it. If Joshua is supposed to just get something from Cinco, then we must sit there and talk about it. Joshua cannot get there and say, hey, we're going ahead because we're the one there now. You do that, the Cinco people will say, oh, but we're not the thing. What's wrong with them? Oh, they will say they are our brother, how they can treat us. No, we will not accept it. Then that confusion you bring in. So it's better for people to sit and harmonize it and sit and talk logically. Talk as brothers. Look at the issues and talk them to one another.
But Professor, our people, they have had several reconciliation meetings on these things, and they still persist. Do you think dialogue is the way forward?
I have not heard of a meeting between the Cinco people and Johnson people. I've been in Monrovia here. Maybe they had a meeting and I'm not in the country.
Yeah, I had a guest the other time, Mr. Let's say Clydewood Manning. I mean, they said they had several meetings back on those conflict issues in the county before in the past. You know, where they put all the various sections together.
The way they can have the discussion, that's not how you have discussion.
Okay.
And single people know what I'm talking about. Single people know what I'm talking about. The way they have the discussion, that's what I'm talking about.
So what are you talking about?
You go to the Capitol building to go talk politics, and you think that discussion you're having between Johnson people and single people. So sit down and talk. I listened to Cloud the other day. And when you were talking, I was sitting down right to the same place. I said I was listening to it. Let us face the fact. Let us face the fact. Johnson will not interpose objection to Cinco becoming a district. Johnson will not interpose to whether Kabade becoming a district. If there are issues, let us face the fact and discuss those issues. Let us not downplay those issues. Let's respect one another. Kayapoda will say something to me. I'm gonna say, oh man, who is Sayapoda? That length of that thing, the way you're talking is useless. Sayapoda will say, oh, so I'm useless, or my view is useless. I will stick on it. You don't do that. Let's set a rational being to discuss. Let's set a rational being to discuss. You see? That's what we have not done sincerely to ourselves. You understand? That's what we have.
All right, Professor. So Marie also said here, I don't know what I agree with her, but let's say she said, our people need serious education to these things. Professor, do you think education is the lack of education is the problem? Because the last time I checked, the war that came to Liberia was orchestrated, was engineered, was spearheaded by educated people. So do you think there's a lack of education that will have all the conflicts, or the educated people are the one fomenting the conflict?
If you go back to my statement just now, I was talking to you about travel entrepreneurs, people who exploit travelism.
Okay.
There are people among us in a very Sarpo tribe that are bent on doing those things that can bring confusion among our people. They have to stop. Not that our people are not educated. We are the educated people. We the one can make our people to go the way they're going.
That's what I thought too. Yeah.
We are the people. For example, if I get on there and say, look, man, those single people that hit me anything, man, the boy you can't hear when I get anything. I the educated person talking that kind of thing about single people. You think what's about a man who is not educated? I'm not supposed to make such a derogatory statement to our brother and describe them in such a form. To the extent that the lantern is telling you, because our people look to the educated people with so much reverence, and you mislead them because you want to have an advantage over the others and what have you. You're not supposed to do that. Not that our people are not educated, they are, but they can be misled through sophisticated techniques by the educated people. And those are the travel entrepreneurs who exploit travel solidarity for their personal interests.
Okay. And so your formula, you said those travel entrepreneurs, the people should go to the ballot box to remove them from power. That's the way forward to get rid of them.
But my brother, the people should look for people who are thinking about, who have been doing things in the form of development and unity. All right? That the only way they will go back to the state. That the only way.
Yeah, but Professor, Liberian people, they are kind of strange people. I mean,
there will be enough phenomenon throughout.
I think you know the cliche, you kill my pa, you kill my ma, we'll vote for you. People voting for people that are suppressing them. So I don't know. There's something fundamentally wrong in that country. Let's see. I think the next topic here I think that's the district issue that you wanted to talk about. And let's see here what you have here. I want to bring this question. There's something you put in. Is there a conflict between the Sarpo and Kru, Professor Sinoe, or in Liberia as a whole?
I will answer the question. I will give you two answers.
Okay.
I will say yes, and I will say no. I will say yes. There was a conflict, and the conflict was because of the Civil War. When the Civil War was coming, I never went anywhere in the war. I stayed in Liberia throughout, and I never participated in any of the fight. I stayed in Nigrutown throughout the Civil War, as much as I was Sarpo man. But I speak all the dialects in the Southeast. You bring Gribble, I was speaking. Bring Sarpo, I was speaking. You bring Gribble,
you speak Kru?
I was speaking. So I can fit anywhere. I think my behavior is such that you will not even know that I'm a Sarpo man. I tell you I'm a Sarpo man. That's the kind of person I am.
So, Professor, you can speak Kru too?
Oh, yes. If I speak Kru, I believe it.
Oh, okay.
I can speak Kru. I live in Nigrutown for 20 years.
So you're a polyglot.
I served as development committee chairman. I was there when the war was, when Prince Johnson was taking care of Nigrutown. Yeah? So there was war. How did the war affect the relationship between the Kru and the Sarpo? You know, when the war was coming, and let's be sincere to ourselves, there was this tendency, there was this issue that the war is not coming from the war that coming for Samuel Doe, Samuel Doe and the Crown people. And other people say, no, the war is not coming for the Crown people, it's coming for the Doe government. The argument have been. They've shifted it, politicians shifted it to travel fight. I can remember very well, there was a division in the Sarpo community. People said the war they're coming to fight Samuel Doe. The Crown people, we and the Crown people are the same. Some other people say, no, we and the Crown people are not the same. If we were the same, Samuel Doe would not have executed Samuel was said. The war that coming is because of what Joe is doing, and not because the war that Crown people they're coming for. Sarpo politicians in the Doe government line up behind Samuel Doe, got our people under the influence, and our people pronounce in support of the war, to fight to stop the war. Are you following?
Yeah.
Right. So the Sarpo tribe was seen as allies of Samuel Doe. The Krus were seen as the allies of those that are fighting against the Samuel Doe government. So politics went bad in Sinoe County. Divisive politics that was in Sinoe County. Let me tell you, my brother, I was a victim of that stuff. I had just come from jail because I was arrested along with my colleagues at the University of Liberia after we issued a statement. And I, as president of the University of Liberia UNESCO Club, I wrote a letter to the Secretary General of the United Nations complaining Samuel Doe government about human rights abuse in Liberia. So we were arrested and put in jail in October 1989. We were in jail from October to December. December 24, around 3 o'clock in the evening, we were taken from the post stacket in handcuffs to the executive marshal. When we arrived at the marshal, they took us to the 4th floor, the office of the president. We waited until in the evening when Doe came and was dressed in his regalia. We thought they were carrying off for execution. And we sat there with all the military people, and they said that you people are the one that are bringing the war. It was our first time to ever hear that war was coming in Liberia. Those said the warrior won, that the war cannot. So may his soul rest in peace. My late friend Momodu Lavla said, Mr. President, we don't know anything about war and we are not fighting war. We only wrote our release condemning the abuse of human rights in Liberia. We were in that marshal when Doe announced that night that war had entered through Butuo to Liberia. They released us the next morning. I found way and went to Sinoe on the Air Liberia plane. I got in Greenville. When I arrived in Greenville, I went to Sibe to see senior brother, may his soul rest in peace, Samuel Namwe and Keto Jube, because these are my Moja colleagues. So I went there. When I got in Greenville, the tension that was in Greenville was not easy. So I went to Sibe. Samuel Namwe told me, he said, "Boy, it's not safe for you to be in Greenville. The situation here is very bad. In fact, we ourselves are leaving now. So you just have to go." So they phoned way, and I got a car that took me to Joshua. The thing I tell you when I explain it, sometimes tears can be in my eyes. I got in Joshua, I went to my papa place. My own people conspired. You know what I mean?
Yep.
My own people conspired. That time, my big brother, Alfred Bodwell, was the superintendent for Johnson District, Johnson Statutory District. My own people conspired. I said that war is fighting in Monrovia. Then Richard come to Sinoe. It means that maybe he came here to wait for rebel.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yes. So you know what they did?
Yeah.
The superintendent instructed the police detachment to assign police people to my father's house to stay there and monitor me.
So the superintendent, by then you're talking about Mr. Bodwell, you mean?
Yes.
Okay.
So then, when the superintendent issued the order, with a letter instructing the police people to come to my house to stay. The address had signed a letter and gave it to the policeman to come to my father. They brought a letter to my father. My father, I was in a room. Father saw the letter, he read it, he come and said, "Richard," I said, "Yeah, Daddy, what happened?" He said, "Come." I went outside. When I went outside, the very policeman that brought the letter saluted me because he was then a junior officer to me when I was working as assistant director of intelligence at the Vampire in Sinoe County when I graduated high school. Captain Usaa saluted, and I saluted. So my father was shocked. Then Usaa said, "But wait now, how?" Usaa did not know that the man who he brought the letter for was my father, because my father and I, we don't have the same name. my father is a Morris because he grew up with the American Liberians from the age of 6 to his marriage. So, in fact, he speaks more English, Congo English. Everybody that know my father, they know him very well for that. So, because my name is Richard Panton, and my father is Edward Morris. So the guy thought that, and so I said, well, this is my father. He said, oh, but then he just took the letter from the woman and went back. He didn't come to assign police to that place. So when he left, my father asked me why. I said, but this man was working on me in Vampire. So that's why he saluted me for. But the letter is saying that the policeman must come to your house to stay. But I know what's happening. Because the police said, why did I come to Monrovia? I come from Monrovia when people are fighting war. So I left my father's house to go and sleep to Arosen Sobu Power Place. Those of you who know Joshua, Arosen Sobu Power Place is right by the police gate. You pass by the gate going to Nindwe, the Teahjay house on your right, facing the public work camp. The late Arosen Sobu, the father house. I went in the house and I was sleeping. So I would leave the Central Bureaucracy in the evening. By 5 o'clock in the evening, I'll walk and pass through the gate. The police people will see me and I'll go to bed. In the morning, I will walk from that place and pass. I'm a security man. I know security very well. But they did not know how I left Joshua. They did not know how I left. I left Joshua March 10, 1990, through Rangide to Monrovia. So I knew that, look, something was happening now. Already, Sinoe was polarized. Kru people on one side, Sarpo people on one side. So when the war started, Taylor people enter in July on our side. The people started going to villages and killing our people. You understand? They're killing our people. When Doe was in control, there's a guy called Zokla. Zokla, you would come to Joshua in the night and run up with the people looking for what they perceived rebels and all of that in Greenfield and other places. So the country began terrorized on travel lines now. The Kru see themselves as those who are being hunted by the Doe regime. And the Sarpo people are allies of the Doe regime. So our people got in that kind of situation, messed up, and it happened. In the middle of the process, LPC came as a second force. And the reprisal against the Kru people. So that is a conflict. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Look, my brother, Kru boys destroy Kru villages. Sarpo boys destroy Sarpo villages. Ask all the rebel people that fought. There were Sarpo people that killed Sarpo people. Sarpo rebels that killed Sarpo people. There were Kru rebels that killed Kru people. But you know, it's more hurtful when somebody from the other side destroy your town than the guy who come from the same town destroying your own town. You know that? It's more hurtful.
Well, why is it hurtful? I mean, it's still destruction, though.
Yeah, it's still destruction, but there's a way to make peace in your taboo system. That's a way to make peace. So the Kru guys will easily make peace. The Sarpo guys will easily make peace, but the Sarpo guys will not easily make peace with the Kru guys. And the Kru guys will not easily make peace with the Sarpo guys. So it needed a kind of leadership that will show the different side to heal the wound. And so that was the wound of the healing process that started when the war was over in the 2005 election. We went to election, and then we had the leadership of Sinoe County organizing dialogue and moving from one place to another, and all the kind of things were happening here and there, and what have you. People started gaining confidence and this and that. You see it? As we speak, I don't see it as a conflict. No. The conflict is perceived, and it is at the disadvantage of both the Sarpo and the Kru people. The leaders are the one imagining conflict. They are propelling conflict for their personal gains, and not a real conflict between the Kru and the Sarpo, because the Kru people and the Sarpo people, they are still suffering. There is no good roads, there are no good clinics, there are no good schools in all the villages across the county. But the superintendent, the representative, the senators, their children are in good school, they're eating good food, they live in good places. Our people are suffering. There is a conflict, no conflict. They put the conflict there in order to divide them. For them to live in abject poverty while they are enjoying the largesse of the county.
Yeah, but Professor, the conflict, though, if you think about it, you say it was orchestrated by the politicians. But I think more so, if you say the majority politician, the politicians that are in a majority tribal group, I think it will be to their advantage.
Politician. I said selfish politician on both sides.
Selfish. No, but the point I'm trying to make, Professor, say for example, Zarzar wants to run as a senator for Sinoe County.
Selfish.
If he runs on tribal politics, he wouldn't win because he is in a minority tribe in the county. So I don't think running tribal politics would be in the interest of Zarzar. So more so, the tribal politics will be in the interest of Teahjay because he's from the majority tribe. Hello? Hello? Yeah, I think the internet is giving there's a glitch over there. Hello? I don't think he's hearing me.
Yeah.
Hello? Are you hearing me? Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, let's see what I can keep it. We'll bring it back. We'll bring it back. The internet is acting out. That's my fear. I was having a fear. I knew it was going to get some issues. All right, so guys, that Professor Panton is my special guest today. Talking all things Sinoe County. The viewers, the line. I'll be opening the line when the professor gets back. If you want to come live, let me know. I can send you the link. If you want to call, the number is also, I got the number. I'll post the number in a little bit so you can ask some questions if you wanted to participate. Say Marie and others are participating. Especially Marie asking some questions. And that's pretty good. But you can be quiet when the people come on, especially when we are talking for Sinoe and you are from Sinoe. You have to ask the questions. You can't just have views on these things, and when the people come, the Panther. Hello? No sound.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. All right. Welcome back.
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, welcome back. The internet was giving a little problem for your end.
Hello?
Yeah, hello. Are you hearing me?
I'm hearing you.
All right, so but you got my question earlier because you were talking about the tribal politics. I don't think it's to the advantage of the minority to preach tribal politics. So most of the politics is coming from the majority tribe. Isn't that would be your correct?
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Go ahead.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, it's still giving problem over the internet is still struggling. Yeah, the pro internet. Yeah, let's see. He might try again to come back. The pro internet is acting. So, like I was saying, I bring these people when we're talking about Sinoe County, we're talking about the various tribal groups. Because the professor is saying the best way for us to move forward is for us to discuss these issues. So, we'll have the opportunity to have something to call the internet where all of us can congregate and share ideas. So when the professors, the people want to come, ask your questions, give your ideas, and then we can put together to see how we can have a good county. Let's see what I would not have problem again here. Yeah, Professor, you hear me? Hello?
Yeah.
Is my sound okay for your end?
I'm hearing you.
All right, but go ahead. When you talk, I barely hear you. Go ahead. But you're delaying.
Yeah, hello?
Yeah. Okay, Professor, I think we'll have to do the phone. Let's do the phone route. I think the internet is acting already. It's not strong no more.
Yes, I can hear you clearly. I can hear you clearly.
Okay, then go ahead. Go ahead and talk. Yeah, I'm not hearing you. Yeah, let's do the phone. Yeah,
so
go ahead.
I mean, the issue is that
nah, guys, it's still not too strong like before. Yeah, the network is still. I mean, let me see what I can coin. Let's use the phone option right now. I think the internet is not too strong for live coverage right now. Let's see. To bring it back again, Mr. Panton, you hear me?
yes.
Yeah, but the internet is not good on your side. The internet is not good right now. Yeah, he got out again. Yeah, he back again. Our professor looks at the internet is not too strong. Can we use the phone?
All right, if you want to.
Yeah, let's use the phone. The internet is acting up right now. Yeah, I'm hearing you now.
All right, let's try and see. Let me talking and see. Then later on we can go. Maybe we can wrap up very fast. And so there's a conflict. There was a conflict, but then after the war, we started to mitigate the conflict through series of dialogues as a way of building confidence among ourselves as Sinoe citizens. And the confidence building would have been sustained and should be sustained by the approach of our leaders. If the leaders are united and working together as people, the citizens that follow them will do the thing that they are doing. But if the leaders are not doing that, it will be difficult for the citizens to do that, because they will divide the citizens on different lines, which is not correct for development.
Okay, but I mean, for your analysis, I heard the verb was.
Yeah.
So currently we do not have a conflict.
And so I say yes and no. That's what I mean by yes and no when it comes to that.
Okay, all right.
So let's move to the next one.
Okay, let's talk about, you say politics in the Sarpoland. What is that?
You want us to go to the telephone?
Yes, yeah. If you can talk right now, it's fine. If the telephone option will be good for you, we can go. But right now it's working fine. Go ahead.
Is it what?
I said right now it's working fine, so you can go and elaborate.
Why is Sarpoland?
Yeah. Politics in the Sarpoland. That's one of the topics you want to talk about.
What you say? What we were talking about a topic? What happened to?
Professor, they use the telephone.
Yeah. What you say? What is the new topic?
Politics in the Sarpoland. That's one thing you wanted to talk about. Yeah, the internet is not strong for your end. So let me just call him from the phone, and we can wrap it up from there. Hello.
Yes.
All right, good. I think the phone is okay for now. Let's just wrap it up on the phone.
All right.
So, but one of the topics you wanted to discuss was politics in the Sarpoland. What is that?
Politics in the Sarpoland.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, the politics in the Sarpoland is very interesting nowadays. As a result of what is happening between the leaders of Sinoe, it is also affecting relationship in the Sarpoland. If you are a friend of Zarzar, then you will be perceived as an enemy of Teahjay. And if you are a friend of Teahjay, you will be perceived as an enemy of Zarzar, which is affecting relationship in terms of how we go about to carry on development in the Sarpoland. And I think that those are wrong signals. We're not supposed to be looking at individual as such. Anybody have a right to be a friend of anybody. But to the extent that what you do affect the community, then we have to bring you to book. That's all.
So, but who is doing something that is affecting the community right now?
The both sides are doing things that affect the community. What is it that we will do to bring the community together in terms of development? I'm interested in development.
So by development, you mean infrastructure development or human capital building?
Both infrastructure and human capital.
Okay, so let's see here. Let's see. Okay, so that's the issue of the politics. So it is the politics that is affecting the development of the Sarpoland. That's what you're saying, in other words.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So while we are running out of time here, I don't know whether we have already discussed it or that's why you were talking about Zarzar and the Teahjay factor. If you want to throw light on it a little bit.
For example, if you friendly with Zarzar and you go around Zarzar, then you are construed as a Zarzar protege.
Okay.
But the other group of Sarpo people who are friendly with Teahjay. So do we make elements of the two? No. What is it that Zarzar is doing that is negative to the development of Sarpoland, for which I see it as such? And what is it that Mr. Teahjay is doing to the negative that affect the development of the Sarpoland that I see it as such? You know?
Okay. Okay.
So I don't think we should play among leaders and affect it, because playing among leaders will affect our development. Yes, I'm not saying you should not be friends, but your friendship should not undermine the unity of the community. Then I have a problem with that.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay. So, but Professor, personally, what effort have you made though to resolving what you are talking about right now? Because you are talking about perceived.
Well, I don't want personal effort. I want a collective effort, and I think the effort of such should be done through the community that I come from, and that should be the Sarpo community.
Yeah, but Professor, somebody must.
The Sarpo community has not. The Sarpo community has taken leadership to discuss the issue within the Sarpo community.
Okay.
You know? Hello?
Yeah, I'm hearing you.
And the Sarpo community leadership, that is the Sarpo level, has not taken genuine leadership role in bringing these things to halt. They don't look at it in a most mature way. I mean, when that's sort of a word to use as leaders. The leaders have not taken control of these things. Yeah. These things require real discussion. They are not doing that. And they're affecting the community.
So Mr. Panton, why have you not done something? I mean, in terms of leadership, to be the leader for the Sarpo and Poro in Liberia, saying you understand these things.
Well,
better.
I'm not a leader. I am not a leader of the Sarpo and Poro in Liberia. I have several times I raised issues when we go to meeting, and I gave advice. That's all I can do. I'm
saying why you can't run for the leadership position to put things in context for us or perspective for us.
Oh, to run for leadership position? No, I don't have interest to run for leadership position in Sarpo community. But now I'm just in the classroom doing my work. But anything our people want me to do, I'll do that. But when we have a problem that affects the community, I make my input. I always make my input.
Okay.
I always make my input.
Okay, so you also wanted to talk about the confusion in the USA.
Yeah, you know, my brother, you guys in America are our ambassadors. You have been doing tremendously well for us in Liberia and Africa. When there are problems, we count on you and you always do it for us. But to hear that you are in confusion is very troubling. Then again, when you look at the confusion that you are in, for me, I don't see it as a need. Because there are guiding rules towards your relationship. And let's obey those rules. Let's obey those rules. Let us not circumvent the rules. If we circumvent the rules, then we are undermining unity for development. And that's what I see in your whole thing. And I want to appeal to you people to be rational beings and not irrational beings. For the sake of the community, we have to come together and do things together. We must disagree to agree. Yeah. You know, there's a parable in the second dialect. When I'm a person and Panton'S, you know, the palm tree.
Yeah.
They can always share leaves. One of them will move and another one will get there. And everyone that gets there has his own things to do. You have your constitution as the United Sarpo Association in the Americas. That constitution must not be undermined. It should not be interpreted to suit me. It should be interpreted to suit the collective interest of the community.
Correct.
And we must live according to the guidelines of the Constitution. I mean, let's be very frank about this. I follow development. That you have to even go to court. We have one Sarpo association in the United States. Period. The United States government knows one Sarpo association that is registered with the United States government. Let us respect that as brothers and sisters. Let us respect that as brothers and sisters to represent our community interests. Let us live according to the Constitution and the resolution of our programs.
Right.
Then for us to circumvent the Constitution for our personal wishes, no, it's wrong. I will not support it today. I will not support it tomorrow. I will not support it in the future. It's wrong. You cannot have two Sarpo associations in the United States. The American government knows one Sarpo association, and that's it. So work within the framework of the Sarpo association. You can have your disagreement. There's no way that you have an organization without disagreement, but that disagreement should not undermine the integrity of the organization. Yeah.
So, but
Yeah.
Professor,
I read all your constitution. I read your constitution. I read all your things. If you follow your constitution carefully, then there's no need for confusion.
not at all. Not at all.
There's no need for confusion. You understand? That you have to go to court. Now, I'm following development on the internet. The court has ruled and taken custody of money. There's a reason for that. The court did that because until the issue is adjudicated and the decision is made as to who is right, then the court will turn the money over to the rightful person, according to the Constitution of the Court of that. But the court cannot take that money and put it in another bank because they will accrue interest. Because the court does not want it to accrue interest, I want to take the court took custody and put it in his custody so that at the end of the day, the court will rule and will send that money over to the constitutional authority of that organization. And that's what will happen. So why are you wasting a lot of time? So I'm calling on my brothers and sisters to see reason to rationalize and come together and move together as brothers to help bring about development back home. What you started back home is quite good. Let's work towards it. Let's work towards it.
But Professor, though, given yeah, I mean, I understand you say you follow the development here. Given based from your perspective, who do you think is in the wrong? Because you got to know who is wrong in order to solve a problem.
President Green Gideon must take responsibility to resolve the crisis. President Green Gideon must take responsibility of what has happened in the organization. And I'm saying it because he was the leader on whose administration this thing happened. He should take responsibility. He should not have allowed the association to be divided into two wings. No. He shouldn't have gone that far. He should have exhausted the constitutional mandate. I mean, let's be very rational, my friend. The Constitution of the U.S. is clear. I've been reading it. They have tenure. Every organization has tenure. Okay? Every organization has tenure. Let's respect those rules. He, as president, national president of the United Sarpo Association, should not have allowed the sector, the organization, to be divided into two, no matter what. No matter what. I disagree. No matter what. You're not supposed to do that. So live within the confines of the Constitution. What did the Constitution say? Yeah. What did the Constitution say? And one of the things I don't, for me, you will not get me to go buy a personality clash. No, I will deal with the rule. I'll deal with the rules. I'll deal with the rules.
So it means Professor, that means if you were in the U.S., then that means you would have stayed with the union because Mr. Gideon, like you rightly said, that's what the whole so-called confusion is all about right now, because they both took action based on the president's incessant, violation of the Constitution. And that one got also the point right now. So I'm quite sure if you were in the U.S., you would have joined the board of directors to take the action they took.
As a member of the association in the United States, I will further tell the president of the association that the way you are proceeding is not in the best interest of the organization, and I will encourage him not to go that route.
So, but Professor, from what I'm hearing from you, you are pro-unity.
Protect.
Hello?
I am, because I believe in unity and diversity. You can disagree with me, but that should not stop us from going together.
Yeah, but
maybe the way I want us to go, that's why you don't want, but we are going to the same place.
But the point,
you know, just take your own attention and go and you cook yourself outside. You say, no, it's not good.
But Professor, the point I'm trying to make is, you are pro-unity, but you guys sat by until we got to this point. Why didn't you guys intervene from the genesis of the crisis?
No. I don't invite that party in that business. I will not call you as a mediator. I will not call you as a mediator.
But something is going on. Something is going on in your community.
I'm done making my point known because I'm on your show and I want to use this time to talk to you people, to rational, to see reason to come together and build your organization and begin to help our people back home.
Okay.
Because for me, I felt it was time wasting to come join the noise and this and that. What have you? Because I knew at the end of the day, it will resolve itself and the organization will win. Not one group of people, the organization will win.
Okay. All right, Professor. I mean, you've been on for a while. It's 1 o'clock on my side now. Let me take cater to the kids. So I want to give you the opportunity to give your parting comments.
Well, I want to thank you very much for accepting my appearance on your show. The views I express are my independent opinion as I see things.
Okay.
And I stand by those views. Anybody who has contrary view is good. Then we have a point for discussion and find common ground for us to move forward. One thing I would also like for you to do for me is, as a talk show host, you are there to influence policies. You are there to influence policy or in fact, cause policies to be made. Therefore, I want to encourage you to kindly engage in that You can dislike me, but please don't allow anybody to go on your show to use profanity against the others.
Okay.
People don't want to listen to your show. So if I come on your show and I want to use profanity against another fellow man, you as a show host just call me up and say, no, we cannot allow you to come on our show to do this. Because people will brand your show as a show that people go to insult people. The people have their own bad habit, but they're using your show. So I don't want your radio, your outlet to be defamed.
Okay.
In that manner.
Okay, so Professor,
so I want you to make it as a policy.
Okay.
On your show.
Okay.
On your show, make it as a policy. Anybody who goes on your show and want to insult people, or anybody who write insulting comments on your show, you delete it, you really announce it. And you make a public announcement that you are not going to tolerate people insulting each other using your outlet. Okay. Your outlet is the place where when you disagree with me, come and discuss, devoid of abuses.
Okay.
Let us respect each other and tolerate each other. I want your show to be a professional show in our life. Okay. I'm saying this because when I was coming on the show, there were a lot of warning from across, both in Liberia and in the United States. I've been discussing politics throughout my life. I've been an activist, so I know exactly I'm not going to cause anybody. I will not going to cause me, or nobody will be using a show to cause me. I will not allow it. When happy, I will tell you, don't allow somebody to cause. That's what I brought it up for. Okay. And I want to thank you again for all this, and thank my brothers and sisters in the diaspora in Liberia for listening, and thank you, and goodbye.
Professor, I'm so sorry you did, it's your closing comment, but there are a few comments or questions that the people have for you. You don't mind answering before you leave?
Okay.
Yeah, so
no problem.
All right, yeah, Mr. Cesar Thomas said, would the guest support the issue of taking the matter to court as a means of solving the confusion?
You see, there's something in political science. When gentility feels brutality exists, the time the elders were bringing reasoning to bear, the time other members of the organization were bringing reasoning to bear, all of us should have reason not to reach where we are. All of us should have reason not to reach where we are. All the people are related, they are friends, they are cousins, they are this and that. Why would they allow themselves to go to court on simple matter? Why? It went to court because we were so proud not to accept the other side that says, don't do it this way. So the best place to go to solve a problem, people feel that the best place to go is the court. And now we're going to the court. You see, we were not supposed to have gone to the court. It's unfortunate that we have to go to the court because we did not want to listen to each other.
Okay, hello?
Another one?
Yeah, I'm listening. So the next person is Stanley. Stanley Thomas said, there is no conflict between the Sarpo and the Kru. It is the creation of our politicians. We have to stop this tribal sentiment. We have to continue to preach peace among our people. While our politicians fight among themselves, our people continue to live in hardship. I wanted to get your reaction to that statement.
Oh, but actually, the Sarpo people and the group as people, they don't have conflict. Okay. And the politicians feel they have conflict. Because look, if you went to Buto, the life in Buto is not different from the life in Jericho. If you went to Maya, the life in Maya is not different from the life in Python. If you went to Sakwe, the life in Sakwe is not different from the life in Berebo Creek. They don't have hospitals. They don't have clinics. They are suffering. They're looking for solutions to their problems. Every morning they go to church, and they say that they sing. Some people are in a choir, in a cool choir. So what is that? It is the politicians that are really doing what is happening in Sinoe County. Until we can get a brief of politicians that will think Sinoe County, that problem will not be there anymore. Right, where will you put the Sarpo people? Some people are Sinoe citizens. Where will you put the Kru people? Kru people are Sinoe citizens. So why are you dividing the people? For your personal gains?
So, Professor, my last question to you is, would you recommend for the Sarpo people to withdraw the case from court?
Which one?
The USA, the case that is in court right now on the money issue. Will you want us to withdraw it from court, or it should remain in court?
If they're ready to go out of the court, it means that would they subject their right to the control of the leadership of Francis Scott Myers? Yes. Then they withdraw the case from the court and say, look, from today's date, we are members of that. We have come back to our organization, so the leadership, there's the money. According to our constitution, the money must go to the organization account in the bank, and we spend it from there. Finish.
Okay. Well said. Professor, I want to say thank you so much for joining us today on the platform and taking up your time. Thank you so much. And we hope to talk to you again. Hopefully, I want to know more about your struggle in Liberia. So I want to set another time, we'll find time so we can talk about the progressive and the moja you're talking about in Liberia.
Thank you very much, Ayabuda. Anytime you want me to share my views, I will be ready to do that. Even the issue we discussed today, there are other comments people made. They want to see everything. You want to have me on, I will make time and we'll discuss that. It's better for us to discuss than for us to be fighting.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and bye-bye.
All right. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, that's my special guest over there, Professor Richard Panton giving his perspective on an array of issues, Liberia and Sinoe County and the United States Association in the Americas. All right, he just told you a clear, that's a view, and so we all come here and express our views. But the issue of cursing, though, on Voice of Sinoe, we don't curse people out. And so I don't know why people would tell my guests, oh, be careful with that guy. No, I don't curse people out. I just say the hard truth. I mean, it's very uncomfortable, some of the things I say, but they are the facts. I know the facts, the people don't, it's hard to bear. But if unfortunately, if somebody steals, I'm not going to call you honorable. No, I'm going to call you a thief. I'm going to call you a rogue, especially when I have the evidence in my possession. So I don't know. People should not terrify my people that come here on the show, my guests. Voice of Sinoe is a very civil platform. We don't curse here. You can't get a video where we'll be doing my pie and cussing people out. As a matter of fact, when people insult, I don't want to come here and say, no, that is wrong. And we have evidence to that effect. Yeah, so like, for example, when Miss Lisa Farley insulted our elders here, I mean, I came on the platform and said, it's wrong. And I apologize to the elder. I told our daughter not to do it again. Even your own brother came and joined me and said, oh, we condemn that action. And so this is the platform here. We do justice to everybody. We don't curse. I mean, the livestock show, they got the, what you call it, my man Jala, he takes responsibility. He says, you curse because you're frustrated. So we don't curse. I protect my viewers or my guests when you come here. Rest assured, nobody will be insulted. I'm not going to allow people to insult. I saw some comment that were a little derogatory. That's why I don't even share that comment, The poster was saying, oh, that plenty talking. No, we're here to talk the issues, so when I bring the guests on, you can't say, oh, that plenty talking. We can't just go build in the middle of conflict, so we have to solve the issues. During the war in Liberia, people are building. I mean, some people did, they took the risk, but at the end of the day, the people burn your property, they destroy your property. So we have to talk about these things, but we got to solve the pending issue or things that have the propensity to create conflict amongst our people. So we have to address the thing before we go into development. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say thank you so much for joining us today. We're bringing more quality guests on the platform here. And so this is what we call, let me see something I want to share with you before I go. You see, so this is what we call bringing the leaders and top-notch thinkers to the people. So we're bringing the great thinkers, the leaders, bring them all around. From all around the globe, we'll bring their voice of Sinoe so that you can hear from them. That being said, how I do it now, a party now. So I say, Asablende.
Asablende, a problema, no seguimos. Aquí no va, allá no seguimos. Aquí no va, a problema, no seguimos. Asablende, allá no seguimos. No seguimos, no seguimos.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching Voice of Sinoe. Thanks for watching. We will go. The lady is saying we will go home one day. We are in a strange land. Let's unite. Let's work together. Let's be a family. You know, when you are family, when you are in a strange land, you don't fight. I don't know why when we go bound to we should fight. No, but she's not advocating that. She said we should stay together, bound together, and build Sinoe County, and build our land, build Africa, and build Liberia, all the various countries. All right, that being said, that's how we're doing it for the day. Thank you for joining us, and we will talk to you Monday.